Hello, I am Rez, and this is War on Maps. This video is going to be about what if every country declared war on every country. The rules are for this that there are no alliances like NATO. There are no Cold Wars because that'd just be kind of weird. There are also no nuclear bombs, and alliances may only be forged between two very powerful countries. Just kidding, they could be formed between anyone, buddy. But I'm most likely gonna just focus on the main battles, main wars, because otherwise it's just gonna be kind of boring. So let's jump right into it. The United States of America is going to go full force in North America and invade Mexico and Canada. Though this would never happen in real life, we're gonna pretend it is because that's what this video is about. So it's gonna go full force and invade both of them. So immediately we see American soldiers take the Antarian Peninsula, and that's kind of the fall of Canada. Then down here, there's a bit more resistance because it's Mexico. They're pushing up Baja California, and after capturing that, and after capturing, like, I think there's a major city like on the border, they push around the border, make a naval landing on the Yucatan Peninsula, make another naval landing near Mexico City, and then eventually use this as a staging ground to encircle an army and make a blockade so they can't escape. So they're completely eventually all have to surrender, and from there, that's kind of the fall of Mexico. The fronts are connected, and Mexico decides to do the decision of isolate all its forces right inside Mexico City. That means all of the military is in there, but eventually the US squeezes in and takes Mexico, and Canada as well has fallen. I should not have highlighted all those islands. So now, after taking all that, now there is full annexation of Canada because we're gonna pretend you can't not fully annex a country, because that just makes it more interesting because if you don't fully annex a country, there's gonna be a big border dispute, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So Canada is fully annexed, and same thing goes for Mexico. So after annexing that, and I'm gonna need to try that again. Let's try to make this smaller. So after annexing Mexico, the United States is looking pretty big and strong. And then it just starts invading all these Caribbean islands because it wants to be I'm just gonna so now the US has nearly complete control of all of North America, and smaller, mostly just get annexed or get invaded wars go throughout Central America. But eventually it is ended, and Yeah, and then and then the US has full control of the North American continent. Let's pretend the US has also control over this. It just is kind of annoying to feel that. So now it has, so now let's go focus on, let's just pretend Greenland was part of Canada and think it's the next. Next, we're gonna go on to the UK, who is trying to regain control of the British Isles. And this is inevitable, it will never happen. So, but the UK is much stronger, so it's pushing around Ireland, capturing the capital, Dublin, and Ireland is surrenders. And in the peace treaty, the UK gains full control of the British Isles, just like the name, and then forms an alliance with France. So, and now let's just get the US to annex this. So now let's make everybody that was in these wars neutral. So after becoming, so now the British have full control of the British Isles and made an alliance with France. And there's also going to be a small unification between the Belgium and the Netherlands. I don't think there's even a chance for that to happen, but it's just happening. And they are also getting unified with Luxembourg and becoming one of the world's richest countries, one of the world's highest GDP rates. So now they are pretty powerful. Switzerland then unites with Austria just to get more power into its hands. Actually, no. Austria is gonna unite with Germany. Yeah, there's World War II treaties don't exist anymore. So after uniting like that, there's also going to be a unification between Sweden and Finland to make former Sweden. Yes, Sweden was that big once. And Russia and Belarus unify. That is mostly so they could invade the Baltics more easily and possibly Ukraine. I feel bad for you, Ukraine. You're in a war, but Switzerland is gonna try to stay out of as many wars as it can. So it's gonna. So now we're gonna see the next war, and everybody, all World War II treaties are gone. That means countries are buffing up their military. That means like Germany is now a new power, and it is declaring war on Czechia and Slovakia. So France does not feel like allowing this, and they side with Czechia. So I guess I would still call them the Netherlands because they were once part of the Netherlands. So yeah, Germany's got itself inside a tiny pickle. But still, because this is a surprise invasion, German forces easily take Slovakia and Czechia and Slovakia, and now have their sights set on Netherlands and France. So, and because to make their alliance with France even more official, Britain joins in. So Germany decides to, instead of get plummeted, they'll just sign peace with everybody and pretend this entire war never happened. So yeah, that's how that goes. And the Baltics are now forming their unification. So now the Baltics are a country. Not that it's very strong. So they decided to become a stronger country by uniting with Poland. And Moldova decides to finally unite with Romania. So yeah, after uniting with Romania, Romania looks a lot better now. So now after that, there's going to be another war, and that is between Spain and guess who? Yeah, it's Portugal. And because there's no more alliances, Britain isn't going to be on Portugal's side. But they do get Morocco to start to try to get some revenge on Spain and France too. So Spain calls in an ally of Italy. So after getting Italy in on this is going to be a big regional European war. So beginning, Spanish troops cross the border into Portugal and pretty easily take it over. But at the same time, France pushes into Italy and takes the Alps and takes the base of the Italian peninsula and starts pushing down. And while that was happening, there's a ton of French troops flooding into Morocco. So Morocco is now has very capable troops in itself. So they make a landing in Spain. But then Italy gets a little something called conscription, and they push the French back. And the Spanish do the same, but don't push them all the way back. So this is a major regional war. France takes over Sardinia and made a landing in Sicily. And because most of the Italian army was focused up there, they're having a tiny breeze pushing up, and they're very well trying to capture Naples and Rome. Rome is like here, and Naples is like there. So yeah, so Italy has to send a couple of troops all the way back to fight off the French down there. And while that's happening, there's more troops coming into Morocco to try push in and capture and liberate Portugal, which they do. And then Portugal gets its army back and helps the French. So over here, the Spanish don't find any more reason to fight this, and so do Italy. So in the peace treaty, red is going to be Spain, and blue and red is going to be Spain, the Axis powers, the bad guys, and blue is going to be the good guys. So as you can see, France got Sardinia, and Spain has to recognize Morocco's claims. And yeah, that's pretty much the peace treaty. So let's make everyone neutral again. So yes, after making this happen, we now are gonna have the next made. Let's try not to make France that color. So after making this, we are going to do the next war, and that is Russia. That's right. Russia is declaring war on Ukraine. Romania does not like this, so they join Ukraine's side, and so do Poland. So Russia, a major superpower, is now facing off against three minor powers in Europe. So first thing, Russia makes a land in Crimea and takes over the peninsula. And now, but as that's happening, Kaliningrad falls, and so does the port of St. Petersburg and the entire city. And with this, there's a push into the Belarus Republic in here. And I know this seems like an obvious Russian victory, but Russia was not prepared to fight off so many European powers, and they're only being able to make it quite a breeze inside Ukraine and managed to push back the Poles. So yes, after taking Ukraine, Poland and Romania don't see any point in continuing to fight. So they just decide to sign peace. And the peace treaty calls for annexation of Ukraine. And now this is looking a lot more like the Soviet Union. It is only missing Moldova and these guys and Central Asia. So, but for the blue team, Kaliningrad is now part of Poland. And yeah, that's how that went out. So let's make everybody neutral. And this is going to be, this is part 1 of this the series of Everybody Declares War on Everybody. This is only part 1, so there's more coming. There's a lot more coming after this. But for now, you can see the world has changed a lot. First, why isn't this there? You can see the world has changed a lot. You can see Poland becoming a lot bigger. Romania looking at like it did when Austria-Hungary collapsed. Germany getting Austria. And the UK gaining control of the British Isles. Russia looking a lot more like the Soviet Union. And the United States gaining control of North America. So yes, that for now, that will be part 1 of the series. So tune in for part 2 if you really want to see the next part. So don't forget to like and subscribe to War on Maps. It really helps me if you subscribe, because these are some of my first videos, and I really hope this channel will be successful. So see you in next video. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.